it's Liz from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again for another Saturday, which means it's simple stamping, because that's what we do on Saturdays. And today I am looking at the Have a Hoot suite. Well, I say suite bundle, because it's got dies. It's got dies. And we like dies. But obviously, because this is Simple Stamping Saturday, we will be doing some stuff with dies and quite a lot without dies. Oh, I've got a dimensional backing in there. What a surprise. They get everywhere. But, so let me have a look at this. Don't think this is just Halloween or just Christmas, because yes, that is Christmas, I guess, but it could just be a present. That is probably just Halloween. That's just cute, but maybe Halloween. Then we've got a little bunch of baby owls, lovebird owls, which could be Valentine's. I know that's mistletoe, but you know. And then we've got an owl in disguise. I'm thinking actually that's quite cute for what we're going through at the moment, because it's an owl with a face covering. So anyway, as I say, don't just think about this as being for Halloween. It is so much more than that. And if you like owls even a tiny bit, this one is for you. Okay, so chat over. Oh, I haven't even folded that card in half. So let me do that now, because this is the one I made earlier. So let me just, that wasn't well folded. Let me fold that properly. That's better. So this is the the card that I have made. And this is its little matching envelope. So really simple stamping and some work with some watercolour pencils and a blender pen. So let me show you how I made it. And it really is very, very straightforward. So I've got my owl peeking out behind the pumpkin on my block. I'm going to ink that up with Memento Tuxedo Black. And I'm going to stamp that down in the bottom right-hand corner. So about there. And I do like to hold it there for a little while so it's got some hope of actually getting the ink transferred across, like that. Then I'm going to bring in my little post-it note and my envelope. Make sure I've got the envelope the right way up. And I'm going to ink that up again. And I'm going to turn it a bit so that we've got the owl just peeking through onto your card front, or your envelope front rather. So there he is, just peeking through. So that's all I need that stamp for. But I also need to stamp my boo. Sorry, had to be done. I am a child at heart. And this we're going to pop just there. That's all our stamping done. Now, I was quite careful to do this in a specific order. I've said this before, but it bears repeating. Memento takes a little while to dry, and particularly watercolour pencils is what I was after. Particularly as I want to use a blender pen, which I thought I had out. Oh, there it is. I want to make sure that my image is perfectly dry before I colour it and then blend it. Now I'm going to need pumpkin pie, early espresso, daffodil delight and old olive. This is from the original set of watercolour pencils. I know I say this whenever I use my watercolour. Oh, and I want basic grey. I know I say this whenever I use my watercolour pencils, but I've marked up which ones were in the first set and which ones were in the second. So if it's got a piece of washi tape, it was in the second set. It just means that then I don't cross sets. So yeah, I try and keep within one set. So all I'm going to do is take my pumpkin pie, which, you know, it's a pumpkin we're colouring, so it kind of had to be pumpkin pie. And I'm just going to add quite a lot of pigment. The thing with watercolour pencils is the lighter you use them, the less pigment you have. and therefore the paler the colour will be. So if you want a bright pumpkin pie, you need to put a good amount of the watercolour pencil down onto your image. You can pick up more just by touching the blender pen onto the end of your watercolour pencil, but in the basic idea is just to add as much as you can in the first place, so you don't have to worry about that. So I think that's probably enough, and while I'm here I'm going to also add it to my envelope. I'm not going to colour quite so much on the envelope, as in I'm not going to lay down as much pigment, because this is just a sort of, a little bit of embellishment on the envelope, because it's kind of a nice thing to do. And you will find that you'll pick up the edge of the seams of your envelope. So when you do find those, you may want to go in the direction that the seam is in, and then you're less likely to end up with a darker line or a definite line. So that's that. I'm going to do early espresso for my owl. And again, I'm not going to go too heavy on my envelope, because I don't want my envelope to take on, a life of its own. You want people to actually open the envelope after all. So I'm laying down more, so I'm just pressing harder on here so that I get more pigment. And it also helps if you want to get more pigment down, if you have a sharp point on your pencil, you're more likely to end up with more pigment. So just worth bearing that in mind. And then I'm going to put the lightest amount into the background of my pumpkin, because obviously that is going to be a little bit in shadow, although we will of course have a candle in there, but it will be still slightly in shadow. Then Old Olive for my pumpkin stalk on both bits. Oh, and I haven't put any inside on my pumpkin here. And then for the cutaway, because the flesh of a pumpkin is a different colour from the skin, I'm using Daffodil Delight, just so that there is a difference in colour. And then the eyes of the owl, and just under here we're going to have a bit of shading, so I'm going to have a very small amount of basic grey on the eyes, and then a little bit of shading so that it's not floating in the air, a little bit of shading for our pumpkin. Let's get a little bit nearer the foot. There we go. Right, okay, so time to get our blender pen out. So this comes in a set of 3. They last forever. Well, not literally forever, but they last a very long time. So I'm going to do the envelope and the card kind of at the same time, and then scribble off in between, and I use the pattern of my grid paper as a place to scribble off without putting colour onto my grid paper as such. And then blend our shadow. And I'm hoping you can see just how nicely that blends. Can you see that that's not got any real colouring lines? And then I'm going to go into the inside of my pumpkin. And on here as well. Oh, I didn't do the Daffodil Delight on here. Oops, I missed out the flesh. There we go. Scribble off again. don't know why I did that, because I'm going to now colour in the owl, which is also early espresso. And I'm working on the basis this is a sort of tawny owl, barn owl, something like that. But some sort of, I don't know, generic owl. And then on the front of the envelope as well. Now I am going to start very soon a Not Just for Halloween series, so I'll bring projects that are, I'll make one version that's for Halloween and one version that's for not. Some of them will use completely different products, and some will use the same products, but one will be very Halloween and one won't. Okay, I'm going to do the yellow next. There's no logic with why I'm doing things in this order, other than I kind of thought I'd finish with the orange, so with the pumpkin pie, because that's where we've got the most colour. I do love our watercolour pencils, and I would honestly say that these are not just for beginners. These are amazing. They are very highly pigmented, so they really do give a good coverage, and as I said earlier, the more you lay down, the more colour there is. Which I hope I will be able to show you when I've done my envelope and, whoops, I'll deal with that in a moment, and my card, because then I can show you the difference between the two. Right, I want to have a bit of shadow around the base of the stalk and up into the stalk, and all I'm doing is picking up some colour off my pencil. Did I do his eyes? I think I did. Sure I did. Right, okay, so let me show you those together. Let's see if I can actually line them up. There we are. So I'm hoping you can see that this is a lot darker than this. It's obviously the same colour, but it's a more intense version of the colour. And I'll just get rid of that, blend it out a bit, and then if I'm getting really annoyed with it, I can bring in, and I had it just now, and I probably buried it. Oh, there it is, hiding behind my little tin. My mono sand eraser, which gets rid of any naughty little bits. So then we just fold the card in half. I know I say this every week. Bone folder, brilliant for a really nice crisp finish. And there we are. So that's our simple, quick, not complicated. I don't want simple to only restrict this to people who are new to crafting. And then I've introduced blends for this one, and I don't know if you can see around the outside I've used the light grey granite just to help make that image pop out, and I've used pumpkin pie and Cajun craze, both dark for the pumpkin, and then for the inside of the pumpkin I've used the light Cajun craze and the light pumpkin pie, old olive for the stalk, soft suede for my owl, and I've actually left the eyes without any colour. And then this is from the Music of This Night designer series paper, which is stunningly beautiful and has Halloween on one side and non-Halloween on the other, and quite a lot are actually just non-Halloween. And then my boo I have put up onto a dimensional with some of the black glitter paper behind. This I've punched with the 1.5 inch circle punch. I've punched the glitter paper with another 1.5 inch circle punch, well, the same one, but I've done another 1.5 inch circle punch offset. I've mounted everything on pumpkin pie. I've used some of the black glitter ribbon from the annual catalogue, and then these are the Artistry Blooms adhesive backed sequins. So that's my casual crafter, if you like. And this, I just hand cut the black glitter so that it was the same sort of gap all the way around. And then for my more advanced crafters or avid crafters, I've used the die to cut this out. Then one of the dies in the set is a gorgeous spider's web. My mind went blank there. So this die is beautiful. And then I've heat embossed with silver on black for the boo, and again I've used the same sequins, etc. Now on one of these, so on the casual, I put the ribbon just round the paper, and on the avid version I put it round the cardstock as well, just so that you could see the difference between one and the other. They're both perfectly viable as options, but it does give you that opportunity to see the difference between the two. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Do remember to subscribe. It makes a huge difference to the YouTube algorithm. The more people who subscribe, the more chance there is that my videos will be seen by a wider audience. So it would be great if you could subscribe as well and like, because that helps the algorithm too. And if you wish to leave a comment, which also helps the algorithm, then you can do that below the description bar. To see all of these in photo form with some close-ups, then you can go over to my website, and the link to the post for this project is in the description bar below, and it says associated blog post and then some weird characters, and that's the link. If you would like to purchase any of these items, or indeed any other Stampin' Up items in the UK, I would be thrilled if you would try out my customer service. I have had some amazing feedback from my customers saying how much they appreciate the customer service that I give them. So I would be really thrilled if I could get you to try that out for yourself. You have nothing to lose and quite a lot to gain. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and I look forward to seeing you again maybe on Monday. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye!